So I have a self-inflicted wound here. I took one of these cell phone holders and stuck it into the vent and messed up my vent and got these flaps going all over the place here. So I'm in here doing a repair, and I'm going to show you how I took it apart by reassembling. So the first thing I'm going to do is my repair. It's held together by this clip here, and it goes on the back of all those vanes, and so I'm going to line them up and hook it back in. So I'm having fun snapping each one of these in place here. Well, you can see why I took it apart, because I really couldn't do it through the vanes in the cabin. I was having a great deal of difficulty, so I decided to take it apart. There we go. All better. Of course, I wasn't watching the camera, so I don't know if my headlight blinded you. So this vent was fun to get off, so what I did is I used my little trick that I did with electrical connectors. I have this tab, folder tab, and what I do is I slide it underneath here, and once that's slid underneath there, they're basically disconnected. Did the same thing over here. It was a little bit wider, so it was a little more difficult. And once I got those four released with the tab connector trick, it just popped right off, except it was hung up on this side. There are two locking tabs, one here and one here, that had to be released. And gosh, it's black on black. I know it's difficult, but they lock into these slots right here. So I managed to get the bottom one started, and then I held it with a little bit of pressure. Just kind of held it with my thumb. I was actually using a vise as a third hand, and then I released the last one just by pushing on it with my pick. I had to push down on the top. I couldn't get underneath here. I couldn't get underneath it to push it down. I couldn't get underneath this one to push it up. It was very difficult. They really didn't move all that much. I just kind of had to wiggle it. Just work with it. Was real patient. As you can see, I didn't break anything. That was the important thing. You know, getting my pick underneath there for the tab divider. I was scared I was going to, break those off, but I managed to get it apart. So reassembly looks pretty straightforward here. Looks like I just kind of get everything lined up. So let's see, it looks like I'm going to start at the top up here. Everything lined up at the top. I don't see them in the slots, and this side hadn't clipped in, so I need to work on that. So I had to push on it, snap it in place here, like that. I need to make sure I'm in the slot here. Alright, I had to push on it. Now I get the test for function. Alright, and the way you take it out of the car is these four tabs. You have 8 tabs. You have 4 on the top and 4 on the bottom that are identical to the top. So what I ended up doing was I got my body panel tool, and I got it started. I started to pry it a little bit, and then I'll show you on an easy one. I got my pick up here, and then I just pulled down on it with my pick. and just released them one at a time. And so then this would pop out, and I would keep pressure on it, and then I'd go over here to this one, and I'd go over here to this one and this one. Then I got the top all kind of loose, and I started on the bottom, and then it popped right out. I thought that this panel would come out, maybe there was a screw behind it or something, but that's not true. You're not going to get this panel off that holds the flashers. It is really locked in there really well. You'd have to release 4 points in here and for it to come forward, so that's not going to happen. So I wanted to show you how I installed it, but as soon as I got it lined up, it literally jumped out of my hands and went into place. So sorry about that, didn't catch that on film. But if you do have one of these phone holders or GPSs or whatever, do not use the first 3 slots. Do not place it in any of the slots that are underneath your lever here. You'll knock out that connector and have to take it apart or live with it. Take it apart and fix it or live with it. So just a word of caution, the first 3 slots, don't use them for your phone holder.